Hey everyone, welcome back to the Smart Protein Summit. I hope you enjoyed that session with Rajiv. And I know you'll enjoy this upcoming session as well because it's with the founders of Imagine Meats, Ritesh and Janelia Deshmukh. Of course, Ritesh and Janelia don't really need an extensive introduction. They've been Bollywood actors for a long time now, and Janelia has also been in South Indian films. They've been very prominent in terms of the brands they've endorsed and they've worked with. And they've also been very much aligned with devoting their career towards social causes as well. Ritesh is also the son of the late Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Sri Vilasrao Deshmukh, and they work with farmers all across Maharashtra as well as across India in their family as well. It's important to remember before we delve into this particular session that we've heard from so many of the innovators, the wonderful companies across the plant-based space over the first couple of days, and we will over the next couple of days as well across meat, eggs, and dairy. Um, this sector is so early in India, as I said at the beginning of the summit, that it's basically embryonic. So people like Ritesh and Janelia and many, many more like them or generally as well, entering the sector is very positive on the whole. It creates a lot of category awareness, it creates a lot of momentum as producers and consumers begin to hear about this more and more, and it'll lift all boats, which is why we're very excited to talk to Ritesh and Janelia today. So without further ado, let me just introduce Ritesh and Janelia. Thank you very much for joining us at the Smart Protein Summit, the virtual Smart Protein Summit.
No, thank you
Thank you.
for inviting us.
Yes.
It's a pleasure, being here.
This is the third conference we've done together, I guess, because the first one was the Good Food Conference last year, then the Future of Protein Summit last year, and I wish we could have had this conversation in person, but such is life right now, right? So let's start from the beginning, guys. So you're the first Bollywood actors, first kind of celebrities that have stepped into this plant-based foods arena in such a big way with Imagine Meats.
Yes.
So, for my first question to you, I just want to go back to the beginning. Could you tell the audience a little bit about your motivations for getting into this space?
Actually, for both of us, it started quite differently. When I decided nearly 4 years ago, I decided to, quit non-vegetarian food and a lot of other things. And Janelia also, eventually decided to do the same. But as the time progressed, Janelia was more conscious of why she wanted to do this in the long term. And I'll let Janelia speak about that.
Yeah. Ritesh quit first, actually. He quit non-veg food and I followed post that. But the thing about it was I started enjoying my process of vegetarian food on the way. But Ritesh missed his meat. Like he really, really missed it. So I would try to get, stuff that was as close to meat. And at that point in time, we were in the US. So there was a lot available. And initially I was like, is this the best way out? Let me go see. But I would take that same meat and make it with Indian recipes. And it would be almost perfect. So we then realized that it was something that we were missing, but it was something that you could get without without killing an animal, without harming our planet, with literally helping it. So that's the reason I think how Imagine Meats was born. I think that's when we both realized that this is something that we could get to India, and with the kind of spices and with the kind of masalas that we have here, and which each home and each household, I feel each mom is a chef in their own way because they bring to their table. Like we have a very famous kala masala that we do in Latur, which is our home thing, and I'm sure every home has that little masala that they make in it. So we thought that if with the spices you give someone a meat that needn't necessarily be from an animal, you could still indulge in it. You could still indulge in the taste of meat.
Yeah, that actually is a path that I think a lot of people have gone through, right? This kind of reformed carnivore, or someone who's a former carnivore, let's say, who's really interested in having that option that feels kind of guilt-free. That's Ritesh. So I remember when we went to the Good Food Conference in the US in September last year, and my gosh, a lot has changed since then in the world overall. You and Janelia, Ritesh, were noting everything down. Janelia, you had that yellow notebook that you were noting everything down. It's like you took it's like you were getting a degree in the science, the business of alternative proteins. But when you were there, I remember you're saying that it was quite eye-opening in the sense of what was going on. So what would you say were the few things, the top 2 or 3 things, I guess, that were most eye-opening for you?
So, we had this idea, like Janila just said, that, can we make, because see, let's understand whatever innovation that happened in the plant-based meats was usually the burgers. And though, we Indians enjoy burgers, but we are not primarily a burger eating nation. We like our tikkas and we like our keemas, and, that's the kind of food that we enjoy. And we thought, why not get that food in India, or make it in India and make it possible for people in India to taste, or whoever enjoys Indian food. So, with that hope, we went to the Good Food Conference, and it was an absolute eye opener to just see the kind of innovation happening in the plant-based sector, the kind of the company, the kind of work that they were doing, the kind of products that they were bringing, right from the protein. The kind of texturized protein was available with a lot of people, and also not only protein, but various kind of stuff. Someone was doing it from mushroom, someone was doing it from jackfruit, and even cell-based cell-based meats that people are innovating, be it Memphis meats or super meats. And it's just fantastic to see the kind of revolution this is going to we are actually seeing this revolution happen right in front of our eyes. And I think Good Food Institute has done a phenomenal job in getting all the like-minded people together, giving them a platform to exchange ideas, and even to shake hands, to make dreams possible.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. So could you tell us a little bit more about Imagine Meats, then the vision of Imagine Meats? Because I think it's been some time now. You've been really honing this vision. People have more attention than ever right now. I would say it's possibly the best time to do this in a very long time on these problems of climate change and pandemics and all of these issues. But I think all of this starts with consumers and cooks and people who buy food and cook food and eat food, right? So what have you seen from people that made you believe that this was the right time to enter this space?
See, I feel, Imagine Meats was an idea that we wanted to take it forward, and Genelia and we both felt extremely passionate about, what kind of world are we going to leave for our children? What kind of planet are we going to leave for the future generation? And at the same time, yes, I would like to admit that I enjoyed meat, but at the same time, I craved for it. And to a point where I used to look at meat and feel, I wish I could have it, and I'm being truthful about it. And Janila would say, it's hurting an animal, and I understand that. But at the same time, when something like plant-based meat comes about, I'm not hurting an animal. But at the same time, the taste that I have developed over the last 35, 40 years is what do you say? It's been answered.
It's achievable.
It's achievable, and that's what I think we thought about it. And vision for Imagine Meats is basically trying to get the right kind of taste for people, because one thing that you cannot compromise on a product is the taste, because however it might look like it, every sensory aspect of it needs to be fulfilled. It needs to look like it, it needs to smell like it needs to taste like it. The texture in the mouth and the aftertaste also needs to feel the same. Any one of it doesn't feel right, it's not going to work. And that's what we want to work with like-minded people, the kind of stuff that is happening all over the world. People have done great research. We look forward to tying up with people, tying up with technology, and making sure that we get the kind of taste that we want to give to people in India, and of course Indians overseas, and foreigners who enjoy Indian meat. So that's what our vision for Imagine Meats is right now.
Yeah, and we actually just talked yesterday about the kinds of things that people want to keep in mind when they're formulating plant-based meats, all the new research that we've been doing, and that all makes complete sense, right? The fragrance, the indulgence, the things that people think about when they want to consume meat.
Yeah.
At least
Yeah.
for those people who want to consume meat, right? The early
Right.
adopter population is going to be those people, and so that makes a lot of sense. I think there's an opportunity to move into other categories later on, but I think that vision aligns with everything we've been doing as well.
Yeah.
Um, I guess, Ritesh, one of the major questions that we have is that, during the COVID-19 pandemic, how have you been working with some of your partners, and what's been the case in terms of going back and forth across these different countries? Because Imagine Meats has received some coverage for this already. Could you tell the audience what you have cooking and what your timeline might be?
We started working with ADM and their food scientists in America to give us what we wanted. They understood, their Indian counterpart, Mr. Sanjay, understood exactly what we wanted, and he explained to the scientists in America, but it was COVID situation, so we couldn't travel, neither could they. So we figured out a place in Europe, that's Berlin, and that's where we aligned our thoughts, and we figured out which way to head ahead. And during the COVID times, we were actually quarantined in my village, Pavalgaon, that is in central Maharashtra, Latur. And we managed to we worked throughout the COVID period to get us all the various chicken tikkas and chicken tikka masalas and lamb sikh kebabs for us to taste. And I would just let Janelia say what she felt about it and how we went ahead.
I think the pandemic also opened a lot of eyes in terms of the threat that is to the planet and stuff like that. And it got us working in a strange way even more, because we had the time to sit and think about exactly what we wanted to do with the kind of meat. And thankfully, we had someone like ADM, which was as upbeat as it. And, we were getting samples, we were tasting them, we were enjoying some, giving feedback on some. But on the whole, we were working on the whole Indian palate. And I think that's a very interesting one as well, because I just think that Indian food is great sometimes, and if you can incorporate, the meat flavors into it, it makes a good dish. It makes a really good dish.
And what we are actually, in terms of product lines, what we are trying to do is we're trying to make a mix of two things. One is ready to eat meals, and at the same time we want to give meat to people that, like Janelia said, we Indians enjoy our flavors. So a chicken curry in Maharashtra would be different from that in Punjab to South, because the flavors will be different. And
that kind of diversity is interesting, right? Because you get it all over India, which is like what we are known for. Like, in the north you have a different kind of curry, in the south you have a different kind of curry. So it's interesting to work, I think, all around in terms of the kind of meat that we as Imagine Meat want to give out.
Yes, and rightfully said. In the future, what we wish to attain is the fact that we want to be region specific, because the kind of Imagine Meat products would be available in Maharashtra would be probably different than in North India to probably in Bengal to South India, or probably when we wish to travel abroad, so be it UAE, Canada, UK, US, they might be different depending on the kind of population that resides there. So because India is such a vast country, the taste changes completely with region. So we want to be region specific.
Yeah, Janelia, I think that's a great point that you made there as well, right? I think you had talked about how when you were in the US, you tried out one of the burgers there, you took it and made it into a keema.
Yeah.
And it was difficult for your friends in India and in the US, let's say, to tell the difference.
Yeah, it was my son's birthday actually, and it was my son's birthday, and we kind of, said we get these dishes, we get this, because by then we were all already into enjoying vegan, vegetarian meat and alternative meat, and we said let's just do it as one of these things where we want to tell people. So we put out we took burgers and we minced them and we made it in our specific spices, and we served it. and people didn't know, like to the point when I had to convince a vegetarian to eat it. I was like, no, this is not non-veg, this is the, and they enjoyed it as well. So the strange thing, what we realized was, as much as a non-veg would enjoy the meat taste, a vegetarian would like to try it as well, for all the times that you've not been allowed to try it very often. Like the guilty non-vegetarian eaters that we have in India primarily, which are people who don't probably cook or eat it at home, but go out to eat it. So here they would have that chance to take it home, eat it without any guilt.
Yeah, I think that's very well put. The guilty non-veg population who might not be able to eat during Shravan or something. I think Ritesh complains about Shravan. Okay, so I think, this is another aspect of your work that's really fascinating to me is you also work as a family with farmers in Maharashtra, right? As part of your stepping into the plant-based arena, you've talked about perhaps how you might want to work with farmers to get the ingredients in place as well, because that's a huge piece of the global ecosystem that's still lacking. I mean, there really isn't enough in this space, even though there's a lot of work going into it. We're not going to be able to solve this problem unless we get much, much more supply of great ingredients. Absolutely. So could you talk about, Genelia and Ritesh, could you talk about the kinds of things that you're looking to do from farm to fork?
So that's very interesting. When we were in America for the Good Food Conference, and Genelia, we came thinking, what do we do with Imagine Meats, and what kind of stuff we want to do. And Genelia had this idea that we're looking at one aspect of the fact that we want to make a product ready for the people, but at the same time, when we looked at people and the kind of stuff that they were doing and the way they were imagining their companies to grow and the supply, she said, all the ingredients that they're talking about are grown in India, and why can't we look at joining these dots and figure out, make India a base for, say, raw material for the plant-based industry and a plant-based meat industry. And so then that started, because like you said, we have been farmers for generations, as we remember. At the same time, 40 years ago, my father had started a cooperative movement along the region in Latur, and primarily at the sugar-based industries. And eventually a lot of cooperative industries came about. And those industries work with about 30,000-40,000 farmer families, and we thought, this is a network for one region. Similarly, we can go and talk to other people and increase the network and make sure that if at all ingredients are the thing that can give the farmers better pay for their crop, then why not? So yes, we are looking at joining those dots and make sure that the farmers get better pay, and at the same time, companies in America, in Canada, wherever in Europe, they get the same material at a relatively reasonable cost. So it's a win-win situation for both.
Genelia, Ritesh, thank you so much for your time. It's been wonderful having a chat as always, and thank you for joining us at the Smart Protein Summit. We hope to continue helping you and supporting you as you scale and bring more momentum to the Indian and global plant-based space.
Hey, what, you already going?
Yeah, so we just have 20 minutes, but we'll
go. But
we'll see you again.
All the help that Imagine Meats today, I just want to tell you, we are going in the right direction, but it wasn't, remotely wouldn't have been possible without the help of GFI India, and especially Varun. Thank you so much.
Yeah, not at all.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. All right, take care. We'll see you soon.